Hey everybody. I'm pretty late to the party, but lately I've been playing a lot of Super Mario Maker 2. Too much Super Mario Maker 2. So much in fact, that I've put together more than 40 retro stages, pretty accurate to the real thing. I've gone as far as to make sure every tree has been put in the right place. The code to my super world and the codes for all the individual stages is in the description. I guess that's it, that's the video. Enjoy! Well, you're still here, so you must want to know what stages I've included and why I love them. You're probably wondering, why did I want to painstakingly recreate more than 40 Mario stages? Ask me why. Mario Maker 1 had some old stages, but no multiplayer. When I got number 2, the first thing I wanted to do was play some old stages with friends at the same time. But then I found out I didn't have any. Old stages, not friends. And I didn't have online to download people's recreations of them, so do you get online, or do you make them yourself? I decided to make them myself, although now I do have online so I can share them. In a single playthrough, I've crammed in just over 40 classic courses from our favourite Mario games. Some picked with co-op in mind, some just great levels. Great levels that may even be made harder if you're playing with a buddy. So let's smack our heads into some bricks repeatedly without feeling a thing, as I take you through, I guess it's like a top 40. To this day, nobody has ever called me crazy, and I can't be, because I've started with the original 1-1, a stage so iconic they named it twice. Who doesn't love stage 1-1? I have changed nothing. Oh wait. I didn't start with just 1-1, maybe I am crazy. We begin with a medley of 1-1 and 1-2. Yes, at the end of the first stage, we continue playing into the second. And there's your first bonus stage. So far this thing has 41 stages. Stage 1-2 is pretty much unchanged, although I do like Karibo shoes. I've been through all of these levels and removed any sillies, but if any of these shoes prove to be fun, they stayed. The only thing missing from 1-2 is this bonus room. I ran out of room to give it its own boundaries. If you draw 2 complete lines of solid blocks, you get a nice room where the camera stays still and presentation is at an all-time high. I could have squeezed it into the sky somewhere, but the camera wouldn't lock, and I wanted these to look as real as possible. I blocked the entrance though, so confused players don't spend hours trying. Yes, both courses can be downloaded separately. And there's this one. In this version of 1-1, entering this pipe takes you to 1-2 instead, so the second stage is literally under the first. You can choose either route in this one. Codes for all of these are in the description. Moving on, we have Super Mario Bros. 3's first stage. This recreation's precisiveness pleases even the most over-scrupulous players. Absolutely everything in its place. Oh no. Why does the incorrect placement of this pipe upset me so? Although, I guess if it was where it was, in Mario Maker we could be lazy and enter the bonus area this way. Also, here's the GBA version. It is exactly the same, except for this flower. Seriously, this was changed in the GBA version of this course, and I've always wondered why. Not enough to look it up, of course. Let's move on. Super Mario World's Yoshi's Island 2. The stage that introduced us to, you guessed it, Charging Chuck. Like most Super Mario World stages, this one had to be slightly shortened, but I've tried to shorten these without changing the feel of the stages, like removing sections the players would skip anyway, like this one. Charging Chucks are Boom Booms now. Here's SMB3's first water stage. Don't think for a second I forgot your frog suit. I've been pretty strict on the trees and hedges, but on stages where the decorations don't match the original, like this one, I usually let the random generator do its thing. And we have yet another SMB3 stage. By now you probably think I like SMB3. I do. World 1's boss level is the first airship. If you are super observant, you may have noticed it's daytime in this version, which is nice. The nighttime setting made the cannons a little too different, but feel free to change it. Heck, feel free to totally disregard everything I've set out to recreate. Let's make it with pipes and drop it in the water. Boom! Larry's gonna love it. Could you imagine if World 2 wasn't a desert world? Ours kicks off with a Super Mario Bros. 2 stage. For the vegetables, I've used this technique, and this is Birdo. I think pink Mecha Koopas are pretty close. They fire things you can throw back at it, and are pink. They only take 1 hit, so I added 2 more. Semi-solids are great for making us think we're inside when we're outside, but after beating the level, Mario seems to walk for a wall. So I added a door. It has to take you somewhere, so inspired by this room, I made this room, and added a spare mushroom. Speaking of mushrooms, I placed these mostly where they would be found in the original, and added some when you enter a new room, instead of having checkpoints. This is the same for the SMB2 stages coming up later, but more on that later. Here is 2-4 from SMB3. This stage was awesome for having an entire alternate route. I thought the level looks bare without the palm trees here, so I added some vines. Try not to use them though, because I guess that's cheating? I couldn't add water here. There's loads of plants where the water must have dried up though, because that is how water works after all. Oh, so many coins! And here's the first stage from Super Mario Land. I squished this stage a little because what looked normal on the Game Boy looked huge here. It's slightly shortened too. Nothing removed though, except this one pit hole. If I kept it, these Goombas would never get the hang of it. Here's 7-2 from Super Mario Bros. 3. If you don't know the name of these enemies, I'm going to task you with finding out their name by the end of the day. They are Nipper Plants. Well done by the way. Some Nipper Plants chase you while others jump on the spot. As they're not in Mario Maker, I replace them with something you also can't stomp on that behaves almost the same. This one has a parachute. In case you think I'm taking some creative liberties here, it's only so you can exit this pipe. These power blocks are an OP version of these blocks, but the closest thing. We are now on the original final stage? Already? This is actually one of the easier castles on this list, especially with some of the stuff I've added. Unlike the original, I had to add some in-between rooms, and made it an opportunity to pick up some fun stuff. You can start from the beginning like it never happened, powered up for some OG Bowser fun. I ran out of usable pipes in this stage, so I decided this very last one will be the one I'll leave out. It, like many of the others, took you right back to the beginning, so I don't think anyone's going to miss it. If I'm in a bad mood one day, I might put it back, so if you're standing on it, just don't do it. Don't risk it. Just keep going. These cheaps don't do what I was expecting. This version needed to be way shorter than the original. This pipe was a wicked shortcut in the original. In this one, it's a pointless one. I could have made the entire level if I built them in parts on top of each other, but that would mean not having lava on the top section, and that wouldn't be cool. Actually, it would be cool because there's no lava. World 3 is underground and begins with this level. Imagine making this level in its entirety. Then imagine making it again. And again. I made this one in full, in a vertical sub-level, and in the main world that has to be horizontal, I split it into many sections. Only certain pipes can be accessed from the main or sub-level, which meant blocking off some areas, and this pipe doesn't work at all. If it did, you'd be able to enter every pipe from the opposite level, which I planned to do before I realised there was a limit for working pipes. I'm pretty pleased with this one. The only real difference is you can't exit one side and enter the other like the original. Yeah, I did a ghost house in this playthrough. This stage had an unforgettable secret exit, if you remember. There you'll encounter a fight with Big Boo and unlock the special world. To defeat Boo, the player had to throw these blocks. The blocks would also be the only thing that's supporting the player. 3 of these blocks defeated Boo in the original, and yet not even the almighty power blocks have any effect on him, which you have to wonder what in the world are these things. This also meant finding a new way to defeat Boo, using what little there is that works against Boos in Mario Maker. I couldn't think of a reward that came close to unlocking Star World, so instead I made the secret route the only route. If you want to beat the level, you'll need one of these. You may remember seeing one of these in the original, but I've moved it. You'll only find it in the Big Boo way. World 3 has been pretty gloomy, so here's the first stage from Super Mario Bros. 2. It is complete with the exception of the shortcut behind Birdo being shorter. I kept half of this course grassy, like the original, and made the other half snowy, because snowballs I think are the best replacement for vegetables in Mario Maker. I added bushes and trees to make these vegetables stand out a little bit more. Waterfall. This level begins with no music. Mario collects the Super Mario Bros. 2 mushroom. You don't hear the Super Mario Bros. 2 anthem until... Amazing. I shortened this drop because players would lose lives while waiting for the other teammates to exit the pipe. You're probably wondering why I don't use checkpoints in my SMB2 stages. Ask me why. Because you can't have checkpoints on stages with goal requirements, and I needed these so we can't skip the bosses. I could have given a checkpoint and trusted players not to skip the bosses, but that's not the world we live in. This stage ends with an extra room, and I would lose sleep if I didn't tell you that it is the start of the next stage in the original game, just like how SMB2 stages were seemingly connected. Does this count as another 2 stages in one? No? Oh. I'll take it back. Chocolate Island 4 from Super Mario World. These platforms work just about the same way. They're not diagonal like the original, but they can be if you want them to be. Also, there's this bit. On multiplayer, falling usually leads to putting friendships under serious pressure. So I flipped it upside down and made it about flying up instead. So you can't get to the top just by flying in a straight line. I added some obstacles. None that'll make you fall though. Friendships are stronger than ever. Now for the Spiral Tower from Super Mario Bros. 3. By the way, did you know there are 3 1-ups hidden to the right of this area? Because I only found out while I was making this. These are a whimsical take on the original block enemies not found in Mario Maker. They are actually pretty deadly. The Spiral Tower in the original took you to the clouds. Ours takes us to World 4. We're pretty far into the game now, and things are going to get much harder. But not before 1-3 from SMB3. Why? Because this bit. I can't be the only one who has this tune from this section embedded in a nostalgic part of my brain. Remember the orange music block that takes you to the bonus area? It's somewhere here. Oh. Oh wow. Who knew? Yep, the bonus stage is now a coin chip. I don't know if I should, but I'm going to count this as half a bonus course. If you don't like this change, you can shifty on over to this part of the sub-level, swap out the pipes, change the theme, and you're good to go. Did you also know there's a secret here in the original? Yeah, just hold the down button on this platform for a while, and you go behind the stage, and you get a warp whistle. What? Let's see what happens in this version. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah! Yeah! You don't have to hold down though. What are these screwy bits on the ship, you ask? Why, mushrooms, of course. Donut Plains 1. The Super Mario World stage that introduced the feather. This stage, of course, had to be shortened. Using this pipe would usually skip this entire section, so I removed that. Enter this pipe and you'll find the feather training area. These empty blocks are just for show, they don't do anything. Spike takes on the role of Chuck in this stage because this time around, Chuck was all about throwing. Speaking of Spike, here's Super Mario Bros. 3's 3-7. The original look for this stage wasn't one of the options, so I changed it to the sky theme to fit this world. Here's the original 1-3. What I like about this level is you can actually enter the castle, complete said castle, take on Bowser, and then exit this pipe. Get the flag, and Mario goes back into the castle. Stage 1-4 is a optional bonus stage for you. And now here's Roy's castle from Super Mario World. This block snake took me longer to make than I care to admit. I had to pause the original game a lot to get the same pattern. I maxed out the block snake and had to add another one. For these things, I made these things. This pipe spawning spike balls is what's causing all the trouble. There's only one power up in this entire level, and it's not for a while, so I added a mushroom at the start. The fight with Roy in this level is a little bit different and a little bit the same. I like it. I didn't want to have the battle on the bridge, but we have to break a bridge to finish this stage. Feels silly doing that with nothing on it, so I added another boss fight. I'll do this again later, but more on that later. We're in the forest world now, and here's Forest of Illusion 1. There is now water in this stage. Not accurate, but I can't turn it off. I like it though. 5-1 from SMB3 needed water, so it too is a foresty one. These enemies aren't in Mario Maker, so like any fast moving enemy I didn't have, I use Monty Moles. You can't make the coins that only appear after hitting a P switch in Mario Maker, so I changed the coins to blocks, added a bridge of P blocks, and added a power block. This power block replaces one of your 4 1-ups. Play on 4 player and your 4 becomes 16, so I thought this would balance the game a little more, even if you can still get up to 12. It's probably a bit late to bring in an easy stage like Super Mario World's Yoshi's Island 4. But here it is. If you enjoyed the 1-1 and 1-2 medley, then maybe you'll enjoy a 2-1 and 2-2 medley. Instead of being a sub-level, the sky bonus area has been added literally in the sky. I've done this a few times, and so that the player would re-enter where they would in the original, I had to make some of these a little bit shorter, or the tracks a little bit longer. So on this one, if you want to end up where you would have done, just stay on the platform. The underground areas had to be submerged in water. Sorry. Actually, no, it's quite a nice change. The forest world in Super Mario World was a sort of puzzle to get out of, so let's wrap this one up with a kind of labyrinth. I give you Zelda 2's Parappa Palace. He added a Zelda level, and Parappa the Rapper Palace looked like the only one that would fit. Believe it or not, I couldn't find a single Zelda 2 enemy in Mario Maker, so I picked enemies based on their behaviour. These guys and these guys in Zelda 2 take more than one hit, and there are 9 of them in total. So I used all 7 Koopalings, Bowser Jr. and a Boom Boom, and Bowser replaces the boss. This stage has Link fight every single boss in Mario Maker. It's quite an adventure. I needed one of those pointless rooms, so I made a bonus room. Enjoy. I'm not an expert on Zelda, but I'm pretty sure this thing in the original is important. Even if it's not, I turned it into a spiny shell and made it crucial to completing the game. Can't cross the goal with that one. It is the stuff of rage quitting if you lose it. But fear not, or at least fear less, because this pipe above Bowser dispenses them. So get this far with one and break these blocks, and you won't have to keep going back. These semi-solids needed to overlap, otherwise they'd leave a gap. No problem, but have a group of more than 5 overlapping semi-solids, and they begin disappearing for some reason. To fill such a big area, I turned to mushrooms. Where the semi-solids needed to break from overlapping, I got a mushroom, made it an even width so that the stem was between 2 tiles, then placed the mushroom over the gap. Boom! Ice World opened with Super Mario 3's 6-10. This time these guys that aren't in the game throw these blocks that aren't in the game. So instead I used spikes. I was delighted to find out he throws adorable snowballs in the snow theme. You can't place munches and ice blocks, so I put them under instead. It works the same. This stage gives you a hammer suit. I couldn't give you a hammer suit, but I can give you a giant stiletto Karibo shoot. Turns out to be pretty useful on this stage. Just don't hold down for too long. Super Mario Bros. 2's 4-1. I tried having all solid blocks on this one. It looked just right, but it wasn't playable the same way. So I kept the ice blocks where I could and made the rest semi-solids. The rocket is a clown car and I placed it in a box. That way on multiplayer everybody gets one. These are auto bombs. I did the thing again where the end of the stage is an homage to the stage that followed. I'm going to count both times I've done this now as 0.1 and 0.06. How? I made Super Mario Bros. 5-2 because I wanted an SMB1 snow level. Here's another SMB2 stage. Remember when you thought you were going to die and then instead found a secret room? That was this level. If you're playing on co-op though, make sure you all know that we're jumping. This room housed the warp pipe where the player could skip some stages. With no warp pipe, it's pretty pointless. So instead I added a door that takes you straight to the boss. And an extra mushroom. This Lakitu replaces Pidgeot, and these Lakitus are for your friends. And in this stage, yet another secret door. This one took you behind the Birdo fight, so I placed it over the original castle door, so Mario doesn't walk through a wall again. This Birdo was a red one. They spat eggs and fire, so I threw in one laser Mecha Koopa for the fire. Rematch with Lazar, you say? Larry returns with Super Mario World's Larry's Castle. And so does the Block Snake. The first Block Snake was a gentle walk over hot lava compared to this one. I maxed out 3 of them, copying the pattern. These balls and chains move at different speeds to the originals, and the paths are slightly different. So I watched the original and made sure the player is affected by that one ball and chain at the same time, unless we come into contact with that particular one twice. Then I just made sure both times were pretty reasonable. In the original battle, you'd hit Larry 100 times until he fell into the lava. In this one, it's just 3 times. You can't push him, but you can fool him into jumping in the lava. Haha! The platform has also been oiled since Mario World and tilts like crazy. After entering this pipe, which is way higher than it needs to be prepared for another boss fight with the true boss of this castle. World 7 is sort of a special world, or a world for levels I couldn't really fit anywhere else. Yeah, I included a stage from Lost Levels, Stage 1-1, the stage you remember playing before realizing Lost Levels is hard. It was a no-brainer to include the Rotten Mushroom in place of the Poison Mushroom. Are they the same thing? Let me know in the comments if they're the same thing. But unfortunately, they can only be used in a night setting, and the night effects made the level too different, so I replaced the bad mushrooms with Goombas. They're kinda like bad mushrooms. Here's the 6th level from the giant world in Super Mario Bros. 3. In this stage, entering the pipes, or doors in the original, changed the world from normal to giant. It is a great stage, but it was also the easiest one to make from Giant World, because the stage objects were normal size. Small detail in this version, the bushes changed size too. SMB3's 5-3, the Karibo shoe stage. You know I love Karibo shoes. Super Mario World's Tubular, a stage from the special world after the special world. I don't think people have many fond memories of such a horrible stage, but with the Mario Maker version of the balloon, it's a lot of fun. I replaced the jumping chucks, baseball chucks and football chucks with boom booms, rocky wrenches and spikes respectively. And now for Bowser's Castle from SMB3. To get this fire effect, here's Bowser in a wall. This is probably one of my favourite Bowser fights of all time. After defeating Bowser, and defeating the true boss of course, we're on to the final world. And it begins as it did in Super Mario Bros. 3, with tanks. I used the plainest texture I could find for the floor, so it looked like the tanks were moving and not the stage. 6-2 is this crazy stage with loads of plants. And I got to use the nighttime mode on a stage where only a few enemies would be different. Here's the second to last stage from Super Mario Bros. 2. Of all of these stages, I think this one looks the most like a level that somebody has made on Mario Maker. There are flying cannons. These birds would drop bombs and give you a ride, and these seem to resemble them the most, movement wise at least. I don't think they look like birds. At first I thought Lactus with bombs looked more like a real thing, but the gameplay was too different. I added a bullet bill cannon at the end of the stage for a more speedy ride for any of you thrill seekers. What do you think this thing does? In fact, this whole area is pretty dangerous, so I've left some hard hats. You would think you were done for if you lost your SMB2 mushroom here and couldn't build the thing, but actually original Mario can run and jump his way up no problem. This time we're fighting a green Birdo. They don't use eggs at all, so it's all lasers. And yeah, I wanted to do that thing again where, I reference the next level, especially being the last level, but I ran out of space. This is one of the very few times you'll see in one of my levels where there's no boundaries and you can sort of see a little bit of other stages. Let's move on. We are one away from the big castle, so here's 8-3. This second to last stage from Super Mario Bros. 1 had a unique design, giving the player a true heads up of what dangers lurked ahead. The same stage we completed like 6 worlds ago. You're not supposed to, but in mine you can run along the castle walls. I was thinking about adding music here, but I didn't want to encourage it. I might make them higher. I might not. By this point it's quite refreshing to be able to do this. And this is it. This is the big castle. Here's Bowser's Castle from Super Mario World. when it comes to this massive stage, I'm more of a backdoor kind of guy. So I was thinking about making the shortcut version of this stage. Oh no. All 8 rooms have been crammed into this bad boy. All that was shortened was the area just before the big fight, and the areas where you pick doors. This level really pushed the limits. I ran out of pipes and doors, and had to begin sharing some. I even ran out of solid blocks, which before this level I didn't even know how to limit. I had to make some rooms a little bit different. Room 6 probably the most. Room 6 was underwater. Could you imagine everything you see here being underwater? I thought about it, but instead I gave the player a balloon to fly through it. The grinders don't completely resemble the moving walls from the original, but you end up playing the same to avoid them. These travel the exact distance as they did in the original, and maintain the same distance from each other. And you're probably wondering, why the diagonal line? It's so the grinders start at the same height, and so are triggered at the same time when Mario's close enough. Room 5 has this funky broken ground effect. It's actually there to break the otherwise complete solid lines, so the game knows which of the many complete lines I wanted the boundaries to be. Also drama. Room 8 is fun. I didn't have enough boom booms for the 8 chucks, so I decided to throw in every sub-boss into one room. And a boom boom. Do not pick number 8. After the big showdown with Bowser, you steal his vehicle, hit the switch, defeat the real boss, and save the princess. Boom! Boom boom! Pow. And those are the 40 courses I decided to recreate in Super Mario Maker 2. Let me know if you like them. Let me know if you don't. And let me know if I left out any stages that you really like. That said, I left out some stages that I really like just because I thought they'd be too different in Mario Maker 2. I might make some more. We'll see. Thank you for sticking around with me. And if you've never watched my videos before, I usually animate stuff like I did Super Mario Bros. 2 but with Pikmin, or what would happen if these characters from many different games took on Bowser, and even Yoshi's Island but with new vehicles. I'm working on a new series too where I ask you for your ideas for existing video games and I try to animate them like they're real, or as real as I can. So if that's your kind of thing, please check me out. You're awesome. Now go play some old Mario.